Hello, Internet, and welcome to the latest episode of Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, Not a Threat.
Just a fact.
I'm Sarah, a.k.a. You want the good latte, but you need the coffee.
Oh, no.
God, can I hear a retake of that? I said it the way Trump said it.
Nope. Roll with it.
Alright.
My name is Evan, a.k.a. Donald Pumps and a Bump Trump.
I like it. Two pump Trump.
We like the Trumps with the bumps of the... Okay. I'm Lauren.
This one is for the Trump with the pumping system. Top-down AC with the bumping system.
Oh, God.
Maybe we'll get their instructions one day. Oh, my God. I'm Lauren, a.k.a. Old Man Mutant Mitch McConnell. Thanks, Sarah.
Excellent nicknames, everyone.
I'm Caroline, a.k.a. Father Jonathan Shitcanned.
It's good.
I'm Zach, aka Papa John Shitcanned LMAO.
So welcome to our Papa John Memorial podcast.
Rest in fucking pieces, Papa John.
Rest in pizza.
Rest in pepperonis.
Rest in pepperoni.
Pepperoni and cheese.
Oh, my God. Do we want to,
We did it too funny. We did it too funny. We have to retake it.
Cancel it. It's over. Jesus.
Okay.
Next episode of Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die.
Not a threat, just the pepperoni and cheese.
How are y'all doing?
Okay.
I can't do the podcast like this.
It sounds like we all just, like, right before we hit record, just took a big hit on, like, a gigantic cartoon duber.
If only.
That's a crime.
Yeah,
We don't do
yeah.
crimes on this podcast.
Yeah, this is delirious laughter. The laughter of someone who is tired in the deepest parts of her soul.
Hey, yo, Johnny,
Hold on
where'd
to
you
that.
get that pepperoni?
Oh, that's cheese, a pizza.
You guys want to do a podcast?
I extremely want to do a podcast.
All right, let's all take a moment and compose ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's just take the hard-ass left turn into some shitty fucking news.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that's usually
We would
what-
never do that on this podcast.
Let's hydroplane into the bullshit.
So, the thing that we're choosing to lead with this week that was chosen by a random number generator between this and the thing that's coming after it is Trump diverting funds from the Ryan White Memorial Fund, the HIV one, in order to put more money behind his internment concentration camps at the border.
Mm-hmm.
Like, specifically for children.
Yeah, specifically
Yes.
separating children from their parents.
I
Yes,
believe the number
specifically.
cited was they're looking to house up to 24,000 kids.
Great, thanks.
That's like, at that point, like, I can't even, like, think, like, that's a number that's too big in this sense.
Right,
Like,
I'm, like,
Right.
mathematically alienated from, like, knowing how to respond to that.
Yeah.
it's like, if you say, like, a trillion, I'm like in the same spot, I'm like, that's a big,
Yeah,
that's
that
big.
sounds like a big number. That's more than there are people on Earth, so that's a lot, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys saw that, apparently, like, there was a case being put forward about 100 kids were being represented in suing the administration to reunite them with their families, and 43 of those 100 kids were deemed ineligible to be reunited. So, who knows what the fuck that means?
Hey,
But,
What?
we live in hell. We live in hell.
We
Hey,
do.
did you see
Parents-
how, like, of course this happens all the time, but there was a specific news story this week that we probably kidnapped a U.S. citizen child,
Sounds great.
and we can't find their parents.
Yeah, and the
Oops.
kids that
And, like,
can't
both
be
the
reunited
parent
with their
and the child
families.
are citizens, probably.
But hey,
So-
nobody's nerfect, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah. Just, hang in there.
Yeah, we all know this is entirely about illegal immigration and nothing else. It's just about people who are crossing the border. It could be the Canadian border. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
just about laws.
Right.
I
Nothing
miss.
else.
He's the
I
law and order
misspoke.
president.
I misspoke earlier. By the way, it's not the Ryan White Fund; it's the Ryan White Care Act.
Which
And which I bring up because I'm looking at this little quote from a timeline of Mike Pence's discrimination against the LGBT community, which says, in 2000, Pence also supported the reauthorization of the Ryan White Care Act only if federal dollars were excluded from organizations who, quote, celebrate and, quote, encourage behavior that facilitates spreading of the HIV virus. Further, Pence supported this reauthorization only if these institutions provided assistance to those looking to change their sexual behavior.
That's the button down, conservative, smiling, white, rich person way of saying we're gonna shock gay kids until they're not gay anymore. We're gonna break them down psychologically and physically.
and
Not
lead
just
to
kids. I think it would be adults in this specific circumstance, but that kind of broad and non-specific language is how they do it.
Yeah.
and lead to an HIV outbreak in his home state of Indiana because we don't want to.
Yeah, he didn't want to fund needle
spread.
exchanges.
Yeah,
They
we didn't
put-
want to celebrate
They
needle
put
exchanges.
Other people adhering to their own type of morality over preventing harm. So that's why there's abstinence only sex education and if you didn't want to get pregnant, then you shouldn't have had sex. If you didn't want to get HIV, you shouldn't have had you shouldn't have gotten addicted to heroin. You shouldn't have had gay sex, etc. It's fuck my Pence.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
fuck Mike Pence. I mean, always and forever, but especially,
Now that he's the vice president and not just the governor.
I wish he had a funnier name that we could own him with.
Mike Piss.
Because Mike Piss, I mean, Mike Piss is kind of there, but it doesn't really, it's not a perfect rhyme. The way that funny Donald Drumpf is.
Yeah,
I love
but Drumpf isn't it's just a
Scott Pruitt, which is a relatively innocuous name, and just keep riffing on it until
Scott Pruitt.
it's just
Hey,
totally.
what about
unrecognizable.
here's a good one, I think. Been working on this. Let me know what you think. Mike Wentz, from Fall Out Boy. Thank you.
I get it.
Yeah,
I'll think about it.
We're going down an early round. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get it?
Yeah.
That's
It's all
actually
coming
not very
together.
accurate because Mike Pence has never heard the word going down in his life. He's never done that.
So, speaking of don't have sex if you don't want anything to happen to you.
Oh Christ.
So, Canada. I've heard that a certain guy has decided that sex education is way too modern and too helpful. And he has got a hot and cool, really awesome solution to bring us back. And that's Rob Ford wants to roll back the sex education
He wants to
standards.
travel back in time.
I should say this is Doug Ford. Rob Ford is his deceased brother.
Rob
His
Ford
deceased
is
brother.
the Coke mayor, right?
Yes,
Oh,
the
right,
Coke
the Coke
mayor.
mayor with who talked about the amount of pussy he gets at home. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay, he's dead.
So,
This
hey,
is Doug.
can we?
Thank
Can we-
God.
I think this would be a real production slam dunk. But what if we inserted a clip of the time warp from the funny Rocky Horror movie because they're traveling back in time? Let me know what you think. We could workshop it.
Nope.
We will have nothing referencing the witch Susan Sarandon on this podcast. Oh, no.
That took me a second.
The bastard woman Susan Sarandon.
Oh yeah, the person
That's
who
a
Leaders of the
overthrew
Democratic Party.
a whole
The
democracy.
cursed harpy who ripped out Hillary Clinton's heart with her claws.
Susan
Jeez.
Sarandon is
We
the
miss her.
chupacabra.
Okay, so that's a no on the time warp. But I'll put that one in my pocket.
Back in Time by the song in the first Back to the Future movie by Huey Lewis and the News. That's
Nope.
that's an option because
What-
We could also do the 21 Pilots
Nope.
stressed out
Nope.
song.
Nope.
Or we could do the
I hate the 21 Pilots.
Nope.
the
Nope.
share.
Nope.
Okay, I have to tell a story about one of my neighbors. This is not related. This is actually okay. This is related to the conversation at hand, not related to anything politics. I see this sometimes. This is not one of my roommates, but it's someone who lives in the same complex as us. because I pull in sometimes, and like, you ever seen those like the got milk stickers, but they say like, something that's like got whatever,
The
got
Lord?
running or whatever. This one says got 21 pilots.
I don't.
I don't like it.
I don't have
It's
those.
just the most.
The
It's just the most
pilots are the
inane
worst
thing to put on a bumper
enemies in
sticker
the
I
world.
can possibly think of.
I hate
You
them
ever-
with my life.
Oh my god, they're
They
the fucking
plague
worst.
my city. They're from here, and they're the only band that's from here, and it's just
Oh no!
it's a nightmare.
How are you supposed to say?
I had
How
the
are you supposed to say the
year's
O
piece.
in their name?
Uan. You ever see that
We're gonna get so
tweet
many
that's like,
21
hey,
Pilots
what does
fans.
21 Pilots sound like? And the guy's like, I don't know, kind of like this hat, and it's just one of those weird, like, beanies with the brim.
My favorite 21 Pilots post is 21 Pilots was created by the CIA to permanently close your third eye.
Oh, shit.
Correct. Stay woke. Oh man. So, but the United States.
Dougals.
So Dougal's.
To the King of Ontario.
Lord of Ontario. He thought that, like, condoms being available and, like, women believing that, they could have
They
an
can have
orgasm
sex.
too. Yeah.
Anything to
not-
do with gay people? Like, anything at all?
Existing.
Yeah, we're not doing that shit.
Yeah.
It's-
Take it back
it's-
now, y'all.
Doug Ford's just like, women even like being around is like a problem for him. So
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's just really funny because they're not saying we need to, like, take the curriculum and revise it to, like, get rid of these things that we think are scandals. They're literally saying, like, everything would be so much better if we just completely reverted by 2 decades.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Like, literal regression.
Yeah, and it's interesting in that, now that they're going to go back in time, it's now going to be a world where all of these young kids are going to grow up in a place where, they don't have the internet, and so of course that means that they're going to be
Perfectly
totally
shielded.
prepared for life.
Beautiful
they're
little
going to be
angels.
completely in a
They
bubble.
will never hear about any of the homosexuals in
They
their
will
life.
never have a bad idea in their heads ever.
Because when kids leave school, they go home and they climb into their sarcophagus, and then they cross their arms, and the lid slides over the sarcophagus, and then they sleep until they go to school.
Exactly. Plus, they'll know, definitely, because they have adults in their lives to teach them, that, actually, maybe these things, maybe there's a healthier way to approach sexuality, because, everybody in Canada has, like, really great parents that are totally accepting and understanding.
Have there been, like, any major breakthroughs that I can't think of in the last, 20 years in terms of just, how sexually transmitted diseases, become a thing? I'm just thinking...
I don't know that it's a breakthrough, but the American Red Cross Association finally changed their rules a couple of years ago because they realized, hey, wait, we're not living in the fucking Reagan years anymore, and now you're still not allowed to donate if you've had gay sex recently, but if it's been a year since the last time you had a penis and you actually no, it's not transphobic anymore. The language is if you have had gay sex. You cannot do it, which is weird because that does the thing is so in their definition, I think it used to be that their definition of gay male sex on male sex would have included trans women who were pre or non-operational. So me and another trans woman would have been quote unquote gay sex. But now the way that things are, gay male sex would include trans men, which is weird because if you get 2 trans men going to town, that's a very low chance of transmitting much of anything.
Can I ask, what is, I obviously, the rationale behind it is homophobic, at its core. But, what is, the on paper, is there some sort of idea that, after a year, you're not going to transmit HIV anymore? What is the...
I really don't know what it is. I think it's just that's what they could get. I don't think that they would have been I don't know why, but the only reason I can think of that they would drop it to a year is they're just getting rid of it because the original rule, which is if you'd had gay sex in 1978, you were not allowed to donate blood at all, which I wasn't able to donate blood anymore. They couldn't get that to 0, so they the only thing I can guess is that they had to meet them halfway and be okay, what about within a year? Because that doesn't make any sense. You don't just stop having HIV or stop being transmittable.
Right. It's
after a year. And the thing is, the blood is screened and tested and everything. There is no way this shit gets through. Like, we've come a long way since the 70s, you know? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, literally, it was called gay-related immune disorder.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
So, I'm just glad Canada is going to get to, they're having the little, Trump-related fun of their own.
Now, remember,
it's
this
too
is
good
just
up there.
Ontario where this is happening.
Oh, yeah.
So the bubble is only lowering over Ontario. Everybody else is going to continue to live in the present, with internet and cell phones and, electric cars. So, good for them.
This week's episode has been sponsored by The Simpsons movie and the new Maximum Fun show, Bubble.
And also that show Under the Dome with Dean Norris from Breaking Bad.
See,
yeah, Hank.
They may be going, yeah, Hank. They may be going back in time and, not having the internet anymore, but they do have new music from Nirvana. So, I mean,
hey, good for them.
That's something.
Before we go on to the other big topic, we got one last thing that the House Appropriations Committee just passed a bill 29-26 with one Republican dissenter. Not like this isn't going into but it has to go through. It gets to go through Congress now, which is in addition to an education bill, I believe, that would make it so that if you are if you are in a county or state or on some level that refuses to work with adoption agencies that discriminate based on sexuality or single parenthood or anything else, despite obviously qualifying in other ways. If you decline to work with them, you are your federal adoption funding is cut by 15%, and it would also prevent it would prevent the government on a federal level from refusing to work with discriminatory adoption places, which is fucking disgusting because we have a glut of not a glut, that's not the right word. But we have a lot of kids that could use adoption, and they're just trying to stonewall this bullshit by, just saying the gays.
Right, because if gay parents raise a child, the child will turn into a lizard.
Oh, yeah. And, another thing
witch.
is that we as a country don't have any...
Zach, I got a question about that.
Religion.
If your parents have you, and then, your parents divorce, and then your dad marries a man... Do you, automatically turn into a lizard or a witch?
You get grandfathered into lizarddom, I think is how it works.
Fuck, I gotta get my parents split up.
You get lizard-fathered.
Oh my god.
I gotta get my...
That's not even funny, but thank you.
It's not. I gotta get my parents to split up.
Shit. Didn't that same piece of legislation that you were just talking about also specifically enable what's the word? Enable adoption agencies to, on an individual level, object on religious grounds?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The way that it was, I don't know if that explicitly allows it, whether it's if you do it, then people. I think they're allowed to do it, and anyone who says no, we don't want to fucking work with you, gets their federal funding cut by 15%.
Yeah, so it got attached, I believe, to a budgetary piece of legislation, and it has to pass. It has to pass in its current form, and that has to not be cut from the legislation to make it to Congress. So it could very well be called without a vote.
It could be, yes, but it's still troubling that it even made it past the House Appropriations Committee.
Yeah. And there are 9 states that already have laws on the books, according to the LGBTQ Nation article that we're pulling this story from. 9 states have laws where they can their child welfare agencies can discriminate against LGBTQ youth and parents and people seeking to adopt. Alabama, Kansas, Michigan, Mississippi, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, and Virginia. And 5 of those bills have passed in the last 2 years. So this is a fun, recent thing that I guess Republicans are trying to do now, is just, they're trying to figure out more new and creative ways to make our lives even worse. So, thanks for that.
They got a pretty creative way in, to make, gay people's lives worse. women's lives worse, like people, like disenfranchised people's lives worse. Our friend Mitch McConnell took the Supreme Court seat for himself, and now they're about to.
Ooh.
Oh wait, no, cut that.
Now on to the next topic. Now I see just a name here, but I need to know, why are we talking about beloved character actor Tom Cavanaugh, known for his roles as JD's brother on Scrubs and Ranger Smith in the Yogi
I was
Bear
wondering
movie?
why that name looks so fucking familiar.
Oh my god.
Like, aside from the real reason.
Yeah. Tom.
If only
Why
we
are
were
we talking
talking
Beloved
about...
character actor Tom Cavanaugh.
Unfortunately,
That
we are
one?
not talking about beloved character actor Tom Cavanaugh. We are talking about Trump's nominee for the new Supreme Court justice, because
His
Justice
first
Kennedy is retiring, bitch.
His name is Brett.
What's his
name's
first name?
Fucking Brett.
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 He looked... Okay,
No
so this...
Brett has ever been good. Sorry to my
So
friend
this-
Brett that's not
This
listening to this.
fucking dude. Do you
Let's
really
just
have a
go
friend
on
named
Wikipedia. I'm
Brett?
just gonna go on Wikipedia and see a list of famous Bretts.
List of famous Bretts. It even sounds bad to say.
Oh boy.
To be fair, I exclusively refer to this friend by his last name, so it's fine.
Brett Favre. That's not a good
Bad.
man.
Favre.
Favre.
Favre. Brett
Is
Favre.
it? One
Football
man.
man.
It's Brett Favre.
Those
He's the
letters should
football
not
man.
be together in that order.
No, they shouldn't, but it is Brett Favre.
Fucking Wisconsin.
He was in Minnesota too. But
I'm looking at Wikipedia, and almost all of the famous Bretts are athletes.
Makes you think.
I love doing research for my politics podcast where I look up a list of famous Bretts.
tell me now which Brett.
One of them was Brett Butler, a baseball man, which is it seems like a bit of a.
I'm sorry,
bit of
a baseball man?
Yeah, a baseball man.
A
It's a
baseball
technical
man?
term.
His parents were probably just like big fans of I almost said The Sound of Music, but it's,
What's his name?
oh my god, what the fuck is
What are you trying to say?
Gone with the Wind?
There we go.
Yeah, Brett Butler,
What did
yeah.
you fucking say? The Sound of Music?
I almost said The Sound of Music and then remembered, no, that's not the right movie whatsoever.
I mean, all
One of
movies
those
released
old
before the year
movies.
1967 are basically the same movie.
More like 1969.
Nice.
So this evil non-athlete of a Brett, he is the
We got
Trump's
there.
nominee. Yeah, we did. He apparently clerked for Justice Kennedy, and it's kind of weird. Like, I feel like maybe in democracy, you shouldn't have a justice who's like being groomed as the successor to the justice who's retiring. But anyway, this guy, he is only slightly to the left of Justice Clarence Thomas, and you just look at Brett. You look at this Brett, this
You know exactly who he is.
You
This
hear his
milk-fed
name
When
and
you
you're
look
like,
into those
oh,
Brett
Brett.
eyes.
he
Brett
has
Eyes Black
never
Dragon.
Voice.
When they asked him where the clitoris was, he went outside and started digging in the garden because he thought it was a species of flower. Because this fucking dude hates Roe v. Wade so fucking much and has never in his life made a woman orgasm. And I'm just so excited for the Dems to roll over and commit him immediately.
I extremely cannot wait for Cuck Schumer to just say, yeah, we'll vote for this guy. We'll vote for, and then like 20 or so, like, more centrist Democrats just like, are like, I mean, if the vote's gonna go that way anyways, might as well go with the team.
It's gonna
Show
be...
that we're,
It's
I
gonna
love
be the
that-
fucking, like, well, if we don't vote to confirm, we're just as bad as them. They go low, we go high.
We go high.
Hi.
Yep. Not that
Hi.
Mitch McConnell, like, stole a seat or anything. We're just fine with it.
No,
It
I
is.
love.
It's not like
just
Mitch
the
McConnell
absolute-
fucking made his stupid turtley ass face and he was like, a sitting president should not be able to nominate a new candidate in an election year. And everybody was like, okay. And then we're in the, like, for no fucking reason. It was just like,
Can
oh
I
yeah, you're right.
Nominate Merrick Garland, please.
No!
ooh, that sounded like a spike on Zach's end.
Oh, sorry.
Don't apologize to me, apologize for Lauren, who has to fix that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
But
lower my
Mitch-
gain now.
More
Mitch,
and worse.
it's midterm elections, not a presidential elections. It's still an election year. Okay.
Because we're the Republican Party and life is a fucking nightmare.
We hate our lives. We can't govern.
No, yeah, what I was gonna say is I love the absolute crushing tidal wave of all these fawning op-eds from, I mean, the libs, like the Never Trump people, like all sorts of elite types.
I think it was
saying,
Washington
like,
Post.
oh, he didn't nominate Justice Jean Perino, so
Greedo?
He didn't nominate the woman who yells
Yeah,
on
Jean
TV,
Burrito.
so genius, political mastermind.
so we all
Ain't
have
Jean-
to respect
isn't Jean-
him.
isn't-
It was something like his Yale law professor wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post that went up
Yeah.
within like 5 minutes of the announcement.
Yeah, just like sucking the dude off for like all of like
and it was
his
like
accomplishments. And the Yale law
this is
like
Trump's
students.
finest, classiest moment. Like it's an unironic version of Megan Amram's joke tweet every day that like this is the day that
He
Donald
become
Trump
presidential.
became president. She's been tweeting that every day for like 2 years. Yeah, but anyway, the reason for this, which has been said more eloquently by a lot of other people who are good at words, which I am not, but the reason for this is because they're all like the same, from the same seed of powder. Like, if they're all from Yale, they're all like, or Ivy League in general, it's like, it's in good hands.
Yeah.
Like, actual policy doesn't matter, it's just the pedigree of like, we know that these are good people. Like smart people, like the meritocracy.
Do y'all know that the reason that schools started giving preference to legacy applicants was because that way they could keep out Jewish students? No reason for mentioning that. Disclaimer: I do work for Yale.
Sorry. Back up. What?
So okay, so the reason that I'm just gonna say it
No.
slower.
Legacy can't. I just don't know what legacy means.
Oh, legacy
in
means
this
like
case.
if your dad or somebody or somebody who's
Jared
a
Kushner.
director. If a direct relative of yours went to the school and then you apply for it, you get
Or gave
gave money.
to the school.
Then you get preferential treatment in the admissions process. It's less strenuous.
Which is how Jared Kushner somehow got into Harvard.
Wait, remember? Okay, do you remember that girl who had that Supreme Court case? It was her and another girl who eventually dropped
girl from
out.
Texas?
Yeah, the girl from Texas who
Yeah.
It was a suit against the University of Texas. I want to say was it Texas A&M? That's a school, right?
I think it was Austin.
Oh yeah, that's it. Against the school because even though she was a legacy candidate, they didn't admit her, and they admitted somebody with a lower GPA than hers or something like that. But like
She claimed.
and she claimed basically if this case had gone to the Supreme Court and they had like said this complaint is valid, it essentially would have said like, you know what, affirmative action really is like unconstitutional. Is basically what would have happened because the crux of her case was I'm deserving of this because I'm a legacy, and somebody else got in over me because I'm white and they're not.
Not even including the fact of the beneficiaries, the most people that have benefited from affirmative action as a institutional practice have been
White women.
white women.
Yeah.
We forget about that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But also, the thing that I was saying about the about legacy candidates is that's why like a lot of schools are still overwhelmingly like the white upper class because even with affirmative action the previous generation still gets to like pull in their sprogs through the process.
Yeah.
Like for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, that's a fun thing to know. After the president of the Yale law school put out that op-ed, a long list of Yale law school students put out an open letter to the university denouncing that op-ed and basically talking about what a fucking shithead Kavanaugh is and how much of a disaster his confirmation would be for women in this country. It's like, we the undersigned, and
We're
it's
gonna die.
no joke, it's a list of like, I want to say like 100 names. So the kids are alright.
Grad students are all right.
Yeah.
Oh, just as a quick addendum to the legacy and like affirmative action discussion, the origin story of millennial supervillain Charlie Kirk is that he applied to West Point and got turned away, and he became convinced that it was because a underqualified minority took his spot at West
Oh,
Point.
of course.
And Charlie Kirk looks like that. So, I mean, draw your own conclusions, but...
Honestly,
As he was witnessed to serve
anytime
in
you
the
mention some
military.
shitty like alt-right idiots like origin story, I always think it's gonna be when his mom tried to force him to take his diarrhea medicine.
Oh, Paula Lamb, yeah. That's the best one.
Take your
really
duty
good
pill,
one.
sweetie.
This is oppression.
I want to make a joke that I heard this setup to earlier, but wasn't able to make because my laptop was being a piece of shit. What if the Democrats' slogan was, when they go low, we get high, like a funny weed?
Oh shit!
Okay.
Now that's how they're gonna
What's
get the
weed?
youth vote.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Pokemon Go, smoke a joint. That's...
Pokemon Go smoke a giant cartoon duber.
Chelsea
Like
Clinton
we have
is
all done
Pokemon
here
going
today.
to say that in 2024 when she runs.
Oh, God.
I was listening,
All right.
since we're talking about, Kavanaugh and how if he confirms Roe v. Wade is definitely gonna get overturned.
He's going to kill us all.
Yeah, he's gonna kill us all. He's going to ruin, abortion forever, even more so than it already has been ruined. So I was listening to, the Vox Media podcast today, Explained, where they were talking about, sort of the history of Roe v. Wade. And apparently when people talk about overturning Roe v. Wade, they're actually talking about overturning a later Supreme Court decision that permanently altered Roe v. Wade. So Roe v. Wade is the original, I didn't know this. Roe v. Wade is the original Supreme Court case that basically said the government, the federal government has limitations on whether they can limit access to abortions or not, and it's governed by trimesters. And basically, within the first trimester, the federal government can't say shit, and neither can the states.
Right.
And then in the second trimester, there's, like, limitations, and it's kind of at the discretion of, like, the care provider, and then in the third trimester, like, very little shit you can do. But then,
Yeah.
I want to say the 90s, I think, in 92, a Supreme Court case called Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania versus Casey, was decided in the Supreme Court, and basically scaled back a lot of the protections that Roe v. Wade afforded women, which is what landed us in the situation that we're in now, where states have been able to kind of chip away at the limitations on how they can restrict access to abortions, which is why they're able to do shit like, yeah, abortion's legal in our state. There's one abortion clinic in the entire state. And you have to get an
And
ultrasound.
when you're in a state like Texas, where you can drive for 12 hours and still be in the state,
Mhm.
that's not...
Yeah.
It's also very cool that a lot of the like laws that more conservative states have enacted that greatly restricts access to abortion. It includes stuff like if any of you have seen like the BoJack Horseman episode about abortion, like there's a joke. The abortion doctor says like, I'm forced by the states. Because the animals, the potential baby is a puppy. Your puppy might have a favorite color, and that favorite color might be blue. And now you have to watch 3 hours of puppies playing like by yourself. And that's not literally what the laws are, but that's
It's
like
not.
the
It's
spirit
like riffing
of them.
on the real
Yeah.
law.
Yeah. Because
And also a cool thing that happens is I don't remember which states these are, but several have enacted like where you have to get a vaginal ultrasound.
Yeah.
Which if you have been raped and that's the reason why you're seeking an abortion, I mean just like in general, but like specifically that is going to severely re-traumatize sexual violence victims.
yeah.
And the big thing they do is they have all these very, very strict quote unquote health safety regulations regulations for abortion providers.
Oh, yeah.
Like only
The
abortion
width of
providers that are
doors
just, like,
and
insane.
shit like
You
that.
have to have like 5 ER docs on call 24/7 operate, or I mean, it's ridiculous, like cleaning standards. That, like it. But at the same time, as they are doing all of like these things to restrict abortion clinics, the Supreme Court last week ruled that it's okay for fake crisis pregnancy centers where they like scaremonger women into like just like emotionally berate them for just totally beat them down until they have this child that they don't want, or as is in the majority of American abortion cases, the reason isn't necessarily that they don't want a child, it's that they can't afford a child.
Yeah.
They don't have the money.
They can't afford to give fucking
it
birth.
costs like thousands of dollars to just like go through the pregnancy process.
Yeah.
But the Supreme Court,
there was like, it's like what, 32
legislated that
grand for if nothing goes wrong, about 32 grand for a hospital stay when you have a kid.
Yeah, that is
depending on
it's tens of thousands of dollars. But
I don't want to.
The Supreme Court said that the state of California cannot be mandated to require crisis pregnancy centers to say that we don't have any medical staff. This is not a medical facility, and abortion is an option for all, crisis pregnancies.
Yeah.
The grounds was a free speech law, but like they can compel abortion clinics to say like your baby might have a favorite color and look at its little heart, and the heartbeat starts at this date.
Yeah.
And you have to wait 24 hours or 36 hours or 72 hours to come back and get the abortion after initial consultation. And the major reason for abortion in the United States is because you can't afford it. So if you can't afford it,
then you can't afford it.
Then you can't afford to take off work for 3 days.
Right.
You can't afford to travel, especially again, 18 hours drive to the nearest abortion clinic and then wait for 5 days there.
Yeah.
They're going to kill us. We're going to die.
Yeah. Also, a lot of states have so-called trigger laws that are meant to go into effect and officially ban abortion instead of de facto banning abortion, like many states have done. Basically, as soon as Roe v. Wade or Planned Parenthood versus Casey, whatever you want to call it, gets strucken down, these laws will go into effect basically immediately. So that's fun. I think it's...
Laws illegalizing abortion do not do anything to actually reduce the number of abortion. It's...
Right.
Actually, it's kind of an inverse relationship in a lot of countries that have access to safe and legal abortion, and not us, obviously, but countries with more robust public healthcare systems. There are less abortions than in countries where there's no provisions for abortion, not even rape or incest.
And
or,
this is true of
death.
Most laws banning things, that the impetus for the law is this is going to make things safer, but actually it makes things way less safe because
literally the only thing that abortion laws do is kill women.
Yeah.
And specifically
and punish them
women,
for having
because
sex.
Rich women can always find secret pathways to expensive clinics, underground clinics. That's what happened in America in the 20th century.
Or being able to
they could travel to other states. They can travel out of the country. Yeah. So this concludes the
most depressing 10 minutes of my life.
The funny abortion variety hour. Y'all want to talk about the Great Cave Adventure?
Well, before we get into Elon Musk's cave story,
hey, video games.
Do we want to talk about the hearing that's happening currently about the FBI agent who sent the anti-Trump texts during the Russia probe?
Hey, I didn't know about this.
What's that?
This is breaking to us.
I haven't been following any of this except for the unhinged tweets that are being president fires off at 4 a.m.
So basically, I guess this should be moved to shout out. Sorry, but I guess now that I brought it up, oops, who gives a shit? Peter his last name is Strzok.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking try to pronounce that.
Polish, not gonna try.
I don't think his first name is Peter. Actually, now that I think about it,
is it Peter or something?
No, his name is Peter Peter S.
Hey,
Peter S.
what that mouth
is-
do?
Oh boy.
More than you can imagine.
Folks, I'm tired.
So, Peter S. is in court right now, in the House of Representatives, testifying about his the fact that he was caught sending anti-Trump texts to a woman he was fucking at the time, and Mueller removed him immediately for the team, and the Republicans are just snagging onto this and just not letting go, because to them, I mean, if they can actually make something out of this means that this kind of just invalidates the entire Mueller investigation, even though the Mueller investigation eventually found nothing.
Fascinating.
Y'all got jokes?
Hey, remember Brett, our friend Brett?
Yeah.
Heard of him?
Remember how in
The baseball
Brett
man.
Butler?
our friend Brett thought that you could prosecute a president, but now he doesn't think that you can do that?
Huh, weird.
I wonder
Yeah,
when he
I don't
changed
know
his
how it
mind.
works.
You can't indict the president because it's mean.
You can't indict the president unless he's getting a blowjob.
Like
Oh,
And
okay.
right
Trump
that
has
second.
never fucked, so he's
Oh, that's true.
golden.
More like he's
Yeah.
a golden shower, am I right?
You got
You
it.
are not right. Take it back.
Not a threat. Hey, speaking of the fact that Trump has never fucked, I don't know if this is a shout out. We're going all over the place. But
Yeah.
do we want to highlight Stormy?
Yeah, so Stormy's in town. Stormy's in the
There's a
great
storm
city of
a-brewing.
Columbus, Ohio, the heart of it all. And Stormy has been doing, like, I guess, stops on a tour or something at a local establishment called Sirens.
Hey,
Which I had-
hold on.
Mhm.
How's everyone feel about this joke that I'm about to do?
Okay, here we go.
Edric Stormy Daniels.
I don't like
Confirmed.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, as you can probably gather from the name, it is a strip club. I have driven past there a lot. It is on a major street, and it is right by the bowling alley that I got my high school gym credits in on the junior varsity bowling team.
Work.
I was so gods, I was strong then. Anyway, so
Egg, I
last
dreamed
night-
I was old.
We
Fuck is
can't
Game of
talk
Thrones.
about-
Anyway.
So last night, she, along with two other workers at the club, were arrested on a 10-year-old law that says that
Not 10 years old. Was it 10 years old? Because when I read it, what I read was that the law had literally not been used in 10. Like the law,
Like,
no one
nobody
been
had
the
been
law was
arrested
passed in
on it in
2007,
10 years.
but yeah, I have seen that it's been very rarely used. I don't.
It
Yeah.
could be
I
that
haven't-
both things are true.
I've just seen that mentioned in a couple articles. I haven't really dug into that, so I
Like
can't
2 arrests
confirm the
ever.
veracity of it. But yeah, so it was passed 10 years ago. It's that a regular employee of a sexually oriented business cannot like touch customers in like a sexual manner or something like that.
Oh, I thought it was the reverse. It was like that they can't do the touching.
No, this is specifically the like workers at the establishment touching.
Oh, okay.
And the charges were
Arrested.
dismissed for Stormy specifically because the law specifies like a regular employee and she's just stopping by, so that's how she got off. But like her bail was like $6,000, which she is lucky enough to be able to pay, but I'm pretty sure she's like either fundraising for like the bail or the legal fund of the other two workers who were arrested. But of course, so anyway, the arrest was made by 4 cops.
4 vice officers, right?
Four vice officers. And as I have mentioned, I have driven past this particular establishment a lot. It's hard to miss. It's very neon and pink. And there's not usually a lot of cars there. Like, Columbus is not Portland. There's not really a big, like, strip club burlesque scene here. So why were 4 cops at a strip club just happen on the night that Stormy Daniels is performing, and then arrest Stormy Daniels on a law that doesn't apply to her?
Weird.
4 of them. Just like the night she happens to be stopping
Caroline.
into town.
Listen, Caroline, sometimes you just want to have a horny one with the boys.
Cops aren't
You
allowed
want to
to
have a horny one with the boys, and do you want to have
Anyone
a
else
horny
having a
one
horny one?
with a very high-profile woman who the president is trying to sue?
First things
So-
first, I want to say
First
Arrested
things first, I'm
Development
the
voice.
realist.
Jesus Christ. First things first, I just want to say Arrested Development voice, no touching.
Yeah.
No
Thank
touching.
you. Thank you.
There's never been a horny me, and never
And
shall
never
I
will I
horny
horny be.
be. And if this sacred vow shall break, I pray the Lord my post to take.
Amen.
But yeah, anyway, our dog shit police.
I'm
department is
legally
harassing,
banned from retweeting that
Elon for
tweet.
political reasons, and using like, of course, like it's like a big, or like it's national news that this happened because they're specifically targeting this woman and like shaming her.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of intersections of like misogyny, and I don't know the word for this. That doesn't include like a slur in it.
Yeah,
but, like,
why
hatred and
isn't-
fear of sex workers? And
Yep. Okay.
Why
isn't there a good word for it that doesn't have a slur? I've wondered this for so long.
I mean, sex
I don't know.
worker.
Yeah, but like sex worker phobic. I mean, like specifically
like
like
policies that specifically harm sex workers.
Hey,
they,
not
they use
to
the W
have
word.
too abrupt of a segue into our next topic, but you guys hear about the new slur?
Oh, God.
Oh, the billionaire slur.
Hey,
Oh, hey.
not hey. Whoa.
We say the B word on this
You can't
podcast.
just call someone a billionaire.
Hey. We can't say that.
We
Oh,
haven't.
sorry.
We can't reclaim it. We're broke as shit.
If you have money, don't interact. So yeah, let's talk about let's talk about
Elon Muskery, my favorite character from Cave Story.
boom.
Here we are, back in
Elon Musk's
Elon corner.
great cave adventure. So as
The
I don't know.
podcast's favorite B slur got very mad at the richists on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we'll get there. So first, I'm sure that people listening have heard of this if they listen or watch or read the news at all. But the short version is that 13 Thai soccer players, like on like a youth soccer team, got trapped in a flooded cave in Thailand during monsoon season. Basically they were trapped in like the fucking hazy maze cave level of Mario 64 and were on like a tiny little beach. And divers were going in to rescue them, but it was a very risky diving operation because there were strong currents and lots of silt and very poor visibility. And also the Thai kids were very frail from being trapped in a cave with no provisions for days. I think they were trapped in there for over a week. But
Yeah.
so there was talk that they were going to be stuck in there maybe for like a month and that people were going to have to like ship in provisions until conditions were safe enough to actually get them out of the cave. But someone on Twitter tweeted at Elon Musk and was like, "Dear, like, gentle sir, can't you use your considerable Tony Stark resources to win the internet and get these kids out of the cave?" And he was like, "I'll see what I can do." And he hopped in like a rocket and launched straight from wherever the fuck SpaceX is located, crash landing directly in Thailand into the middle of a carefully orchestrated rescue operation to be like, just fuck my shit up.
Actually,
and
Zach, he crashed the rocket right into the cave, freeing the Thai
killed
boys.
everyone instantly.
That's what they don't tell you is that they didn't get out alive. It was Elon Musk crashed right into them.
That's just
Thank God Elon Musk survived.
to tell his story.
Can you imagine a world without Elon Musk?
Yeah,
It's
so
the scene from The Simpsons where it's like a world without lawyers.
yeah.
It's people of all different ethnicities and religions dancing in a circle, holding hands with rainbows in the background. Anyway,
Yeah, references. Elon Musk was like quickly built like a fucking child tomb. Like for lack of a better word, it was like a sarcophagus with a propulsion system.
Yeah.
piece of shit he could have
So the
possibly
divers-
made.
Yeah, like
The
it was like
divers
the
could put
shittiest thing in the
children
world.
like a
It was like
sardine tube.
it was
an absolute dog shit of a submarine.
oh my god, it was fucking. I mean, granted, he made this in like 48 hours, but it was like the fucking. It was a fucking like escape pod from a legitimate craft with like a propulsion system from a SpaceX rocket mounted onto the back of it, and like the idea was that the kids would get into this sarcophagus, and then get propelled through the cave, like, guided by a diver while they, like, relax and, like, listen to music or whatever the fuck.
He had, like, an oxygen tank from, like, his dumbass rocket or something.
Yeah.
And they were
sucked.
they were gonna feed one of those YouTube live streams of 24/7 Rick and Morty episodes in there.
Oh yeah,
They were gonna play Family Guy funny moments for the kids.
All the like
Yeah, we should get one of those for
freaks
Linus.
that live within Elon Musk's mentions were tweeting as like Elon Musk was posting pictures of his terrible, awful child killing submarine. They were tweeting like, "We should put it in iPod to entertain the children during the journey."
And they're all fucking one-upping each other. They're like, actually, sir, I think you should put in, like, a Game Boy so the kids can play a video game. And then another guy would be like, I think you should put in an Oculus Rift to distract them from the horrible
Yeah, that's
situation there.
literally what it was.
Like, yeah, like, a dude was
One
literally
of
like,
those,
hey,
so-
I know that you're on a time crunch trying to make your awful child-saving, torpedo, but, you wanna shove an Oculus Rift in there? Just a thought.
Listen, I know you're crunched for time, trying to steal the spotlight from these hardworking people who are going to get these kids out because they're just working together and knowing what the fuck
And
they're
have
doing.
training.
But have you considered painting the tubes green so they look like Pickle Rick?
Thank you. To consider
Yes.
it.
I
So
love
they
it.
made
We
made
know that a
one
Navy
fun-
SEAL
Starving
died.
and dehydrated in a cave in the pitch dark with all sorts of mold and bats and weird cave diseases for like 10 days.
and
and
those
then
big
refused to leave the
spiders and those
cave because I
platforms that
can't-
you have to step on the arrows to move around, and there's that weird fog and there's snippets everywhere, and it's the Hazy Maze Cave from Mario 64.
I've never played a video game in my whole life.
Gamers?
But
Hello? Gamers?
I just love the fact that, like,
And then
literally...
and then Curly Brace shows up.
What?
Gamers?
Gamers?
Cave Story? Anyone?
Sorry,
Cave Story? Literally anyone.
I played Cave Story, but I never finished it, and also I forgot what happens in it. I know that-
Curly Brace is like the secondary main character.
Oh, I don't know it. Anyway,
I'm trying to build an Undertale joke in my head right now, but I can't come up with anything. Can I get some help from
there's
the podcast
monsters
here?
in the cave.
Are there like a million calculus equations swirling around your head right now?
Yeah, it's just they're all. I've got like a big
Tori,
board with, like,
hey, shut the fuck up. Asri Elon Musk.
Wait, what?
Asri Elon Musk.
3 out of 10. So
Fuck off and die, bitch.
thanks, I will. So he
I would
built
say
this like
more.
awful child sarcophagus, and then like they tested it out in a swimming pool, which, as we all know, is exactly the same as a flooded cave system because there's no like narrow passages or anything in a cave.
And the people who are actually like did the rescue, these amazing humans and engineers who sacrificed everything. Like one person died trying to get these children to safety.
Yeah, a
And they're
tiny
like-
Navy SEAL fucking died setting up the lines for
like-
the divers.
As nice as they possibly could. Elon, buddy, I don't think
Let
I
me
don't
just
think-
swoosh right in.
next time, pal. It's not quite what we're trying to do here. And then, as normal people do, Elon Musk took to Twitter and started
insulting
posting
the
about the
authorities.
haters.
Wait,
It's like-
my
The rescue chief for this operation, that's not actually the rescue chief. That's just some guy.
Wait,
who's
you
trying to
forgot-
rag on me and bring me down.
You
I'm
forgot
a
an
job
essential
creator.
part of this, which is that he showed up and nobody wanted to use his fucking submarine in the rescue
In the
operation,
middle of
and he posted like a self-congratulatory picture that was like, you know, arrived here in Thailand, left the submarine here in case anybody wants to use it, in case it comes in handy later. It's like, you know what that is? That's fucking litter. you showed up
Elon Musk
and you brought your
is polluting
shitty.
the delicate cave ecosystems of Southeast Asia.
You know what's
You know
gonna
what
happen
he-
now?
you know
We're
what
gonna have
Elon
like
Musk should have
cave
done?
moles driving this weird submarine around.
You know what Elon Musk should have done is he should have
Died.
transformed into an inflatable pool toy and then used his natural buoyancy to bring the cave children to the surface.
Oh, you mean like
Hey,
a fetish?
can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Yeah?
Was that horny?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it horny?
I'm gonna say no
Okay.
to that.
Oh,
That's
all right.
satisfied.
Hold on. I'm the expert on horny. I zoned out for a quick second. Can someone elucidate me as to what the horny question is?
Elon
Oh,
Musk
Jesus
inflate,
Christ.
bitch.
Yes.
Okay.
What if Elon Musk became an inflatable pool toy to escort the children to safety?
Well, yes, that would be horny. Thank you for asking.
What if
Okay,
Elon
confirmed.
Musk transformed into Plessy from the Super Mario 64 level Hazy Maze Cave and swam the kids to safety?
Isn't that what he did?
Yeah.
Speaking of,
What if he turned into a cataquack and just threw the kids through the tube?
You're infringing on my personal brand. So he
You should have made the joke first, then, dumbass.
I mean, yeah.
Speaking of horny Elon Musk, though, what if he's just doing all these projects and trying to help people because he's being fin-domed by Grimes?
That's what's
no.
happening.
He has a humiliation fetish.
What if what if he just had these lying around and the only reason it took him so long to get there is because he had to repurpose them from a fetish isolation tank into a transportation device?
It's like they need. I'll get my sensory deprivation tube and convert it into a life-saving raft.
Let me just do some slight modifications to this vac bed.
He just removes one dildo.
Is Elon Musk Sex MacGyver?
So he was fucking subtweeting the guy heading the rescue operation, actually he's not the head of the operation, and the people that we spoke to all actually loved my death tube and wanted me to use it. First, we need to talk about the fact that his rescue child submarine thing was a completely rigid long tube, and
It's just his penis.
There were several 90-degree turns with which the tube was literally it was we cannot overstate how useless this piece of shit was.
Right. It
Much
was
like his
he
penis.
hadn't, to be fair, he hadn't fucking seen the cave, but maybe if he asked somebody, they could have described to him the topographical situation that he was working with. Apparently SpaceX did bring teams with them to do other shit that was actually useful. They were doing sonar scans of the jungle that the cave was in, looking for possible alternate means of entry into the cave system, which is actually kind of cool. But also Elon Musk retire bitch.
And then after that, Elon got really mad because he was the media starts calling you a billionaire after your company reaches a certain size.
But
And
I'm
it
still
means
doing the
something.
same work and the same science.
Yeah, it's...
you
and then
believe that
someone,
Really easy way to not be called
someone
a
tweeted
billionaire.
at him hey, you're just hoarding money. And maybe people are calling you a billionaire only after your company reached a certain size because you weren't a billionaire before you had $1 billion and stopped hoarding money.
And because you got it by being
You
a fucking
wretched
union
oaf.
buster.
And here is what Elon Musk said to that, I would like to preface 21,000 retweets, 114,000 likes. No, it means I created jobs for 50,000 people directly, and through suppliers and supporting professions, 250,000 people indirectly, thus supporting 500,000 families. What have you done?
Sorry, I've been
I gotta
trying.
bring
Wait,
I
did he
might
actually
I might
say,
just-
what have you done?
Oh, I'm looking at it right now.
Listen, okay,
Okay.
Caroline, can you read the numbers to me
Doing
again? Can you just give me the...
nothing? He's tweeting at some random person who's saying, hey, maybe people are calling you a billionaire because you have $1 billion. What have you done?
He fucking
How many-
sits there and name searches himself all day. It's
Caroline,
what is he doing?
Caroline, please give me those numbers again. I just got to...
Okay,
So he said he does it for how many directly?
We established that all large numbers are
50,000
bullshit.
people directly.
Sure, and how many indirectly?
250,000 indirectly.
That does not a million
No,
make,
thus-
my dude.
That's not the final number. Thus supporting 500,000 families.
That does not make 500,000. 250,000
math.
plus 50,000 is
did the math.
300,000.
He did the math.
He
He
did the
makes
math
rockets.
so
He knows how to
poorly.
do math. Because
It's
he
new math.
personally makes rockets.
He's
He
disrupting
knows
math.
how to do that.
Mamma mia, I make the rockets.
Mama mia, I make the... He just, repurposed his fucking SpaceX rockets for, the kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's, literally what he did. And he also, because people were
All right,
tweeting...
hold on,
And now
Zach,
he's
Zach,
bitching on
Zach.
Twitter 'cause our
Okay,
trolls
listen,
aren't being
everyone,
sufficiently critical.
everyone. We have spent the last 20 minutes yelling at Elon Musk. We've crested an hour in this recording. There are still other topics we have on this list we want to talk about. I'm going to make these shout-outs. Does anyone have... Okay, hold on.
Wait. There's one more thing that I need to say about the bad man of Elon Musk.
Fast.
So people were saying that if he really wanted to, like, make a difference or whatever, he could fucking fix the water in Flint, Michigan with his vast money and resources. And he said, like, oh, I'll commit to, like, fixing the water in Flint, Michigan and making sure that all their drinking water is within, like, FDA approved standards. Which it already fucking is. First of all, the problem is
that... And then he backpedaled and I was like, most families actually have safe, like, drinking water and they
because
just, like,
the
don't
standard
trust
is
the government.
bullshit. Like, the fucking standard for, like, what is considered drinkable water is, like, dangerously low. It's a dangerously low bar to clear.
Like, $2,000 to, Little Miss Flint's, fund to have a big party for the kids in Flint. I think she does, like, a couple of these.
He
and
donated $2,500.
Magnanimously gave $2,000.
$2,500.
King.
It's
Soleil.
Someone
He's
did the math, and that is the equivalent of someone on minimum wage donating 0.003 of a penny.
He's brave.
Well, you know.
He did it. It's solved.
He did it. What have you done?
That's true.
What do you represent?
We gotta move.
Shut the fuck up. We're moving on. Anyone have anything to say about NATO? Because I don't.
Nope.
Can somebody tell me?
Cool.
I mean, it's not going great. It's
What
not
in the
going
bag?
great.
It's not.
Like, no.
Trump got no call, no showed by South Korea. Which Korea did he get no call, no showed by? South Korea, right?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
Very stupid.
Lauren, edit that out if I said a wrong thing. Anyways, Papa John got racist and got fired for it.
I still can't believe Papa John was on the board. Like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah, I thought he got fired a couple of years ago, but anyways, Papa John fucking dead,
Yeah,
LeMayo.
I definitely
Trump...
remember reading Papa John shit can.
He said the N-word on a conference call and immediately, like, died in real life.
No, the thing is, he didn't just say that. He was on a conference call, he said the N-word with a hard R, and then talked about growing up in Indiana, and apparently, like, watching black people being dragged by trucks just in the middle of a conference call. Like, what the fuck?
The topic he was trying to illustrate is how he was not racist.
He was shit-faced. That's the only explanation.
No, actually, the topic
is he was explaining, I'm not racist. Like, this other fast food chain, like, says this and, like, who knows
KFC. He was mad at KFC.
Father John
actually, he was just trying to make a case for the newest pizza topping of pickles. And then that just kind of came out of his mouth.
What, like,
it was like
Pickle
a heated
Rick?
pizza moment.
Pickle Rick.
Yeah, it was a pizza moment. Yeah, it's like a whole pizza, and they just fucking drop a giant pickle on it.
Like Emmy-nominated original comedy programming episode, Pickle Rick.
Yeah.
Hey, The Good Place didn't get an Emmy nomination.
Twin Peaks didn't get an Emmy nomination. I'm not gonna say the show. The HBO show got like 22 nominations.
But Netflix
including
got more.
for outstanding drama series. Did anyone fucking watch this season? Whatever.
No, the dragon did a big fight and the bedtime king fucking like
she's his aunt.
He's gonna time travel double warg and invent Nike sneakers.
We can't do this. We can't do this.
They didn't see most.
We're infringing on PGOT. Eddie and Brooks will sue us.
They skipped most of season 7. What they did see is the 3-minute scene of John fucking his aunt. That's what they saw, and that's what.
Remember how unsexy that scene was?
Okay, listen.
We can't rehash.
We have to stop about Jon Snow making a deposit into his aunt's ham wallet. So let's talk about
hate
Trump
you
the
more
Hammonds.
than words can say. I am willing to death upon
right
you.
there. That's a Brooks a Ridge.
So let's talk about Trump pardoning the Hammonds. You remember that shootout that happened between those dudes on the farm and the
here
cops?
It goes.
Oh, here it goes.
Well,
you can... Having a lot of guns and shooting at federal agents turns out not a crime, and it's fine.
If you're white.
And apparently,
if you're white.
If you have a cowboy hat.
Goes without saying.
If you're white.
If you have a cowboy hat and you don't like
and
the country.
Conservative.
And you say that
Remember how this
9/11
happened?
Do whatever you want.
Do you remember how this happened yesterday? And it's like completely vanished from the news cycle already. It was like a shout out on CNN's ticker or what the fuck ever, and then we just moved on.
Hey,
'Cause,
we
like,
had
that's
a
just
mass
kinda-
shooting like a week ago, and everyone already stopped talking about
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh, I actually forgot about that.
Yeah,
If you had
because
asked
we
me
live
when
in the
last-
worst fucking country on earth.
We
If you
were
would
just
ask, if you
drifting
would ask me
through
when the
the of
if you would, oh my god, if you would ask me when the last major shooting was, I would have said it was the California one.
Sorry, you said was in the funniest. You were like, was.
I stumbled over my words, Zachary. Please be kind.
It was like a beautiful song.
So, Paul Ryan's car got eaten by woodchucks.
Yeah, what the
Absolute.
fuck?
Shout out to
going
those
HTAP.
fucking woodchucks.
Oh my god. And also, let's talk about Margaret
Wait,
Atwood's
I
suffering
want to talk.
wine.
I really want to talk more about the fucking woodchucks.
Zach, you just walked over me saying the words Margaret Atwood's suffering wine, but go ahead.
Yeah, and I did that for the good of all of our listeners. But, apparently Paul Ryan...
Zach is silencing women.
Oh, God. So apparently, Paul Ryan, as a, like, higher-ranking member of Congress, hasn't been allowed to drive for, like, the last 3 years. And he said that, he left his car, at, I want to say his mom's house? And it was basically like, just like, hey, like, try to start it every once in a while, because that's how you stop cars from dying permanently. Tried to start the car won't turn on. Turns out a family of woodchucks is living in the fucking underwiring of the car, and just fucking bit through all of the fucking cables, and now the car doesn't work. And so Paul Ryan fucking is like, animals ate my car. It's basically dead. Like, they killed it.
That's a really
I think
cool
it's important
thing for
to
the Speaker of
mention-
the House to just like talk about.
I think it's important to mention that that the car was a Ford F-150, because of course it was. You look at Paul Ryan, you're like, yeah, that fucking dude drives that truck.
Hold on.
He
Remember how
listened
Paul
to
Ryan
listened
said
to
his
Darius
favorite
Rucker
movie
wax
was
poetic about it and was like, "Oh, I need that." And then he did that, and then he realized that Darius Rucker is black, and he was like, "Oh, this won't do." Country music jokes. Anyways, so let's talk about Margaret Atwood's suffering wine.
Joke so
See,
nice
like,
made it twice.
It literally
Do not-
lived for
I'm
like
not
2
watching
hours.
Tale. I do not watch The Handmaid's Tale because I just figure it's way too depressing.
Like,
I watched season 1.
I'm sure, like, I had the exact same reaction to it. Like, my coworkers talk about it all the time, and I'm like, I'm sure it's good, but, like, I had the same reaction to, what was it, the Nazi show, The Man in the High Tower or whatever?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
High Castle.
like too
I
close
was
to home.
like-
High Castle.
High Castle, thank you. I was like, this looks interesting and well acted, and I would definitely be into it if we didn't fucking live in a state like that already. Like, that's like a hop, skip, and not even a jump away from where we are right
Yeah,
now.
I will
Yes.
say that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
reading
remember
through
when
the
the
actual
White House-
book of The Handmaid's Tale, like, it was, like, sad and depressing, which, like, it's supposed to be. That's on purpose.
Yeah,
but it wasn't, like, tragedy porn the way that I imagine that the
Yeah.
show is.
The show just seems. I mean, like, I'm sure it has merits. Like, I have no room to criticize it because I've never seen that. I'm just saying, like, personally, for my emotional well-being, I just don't want to see just like the grinding, brutal subjugation of women for like the 3 seasons. But if there's anything that could improve the grinding, brutal subjugation of women, it's a nice crisp wine.
Luckily,
Can I say about the wine? I think they really missed a prime branding opportunity to call it the Handmaid's Ale.
Oh, fuck.
See, I could get behind that.
Like, the name would be funny enough for me to get past how stupid
You
it
know
is
that
if
there's a
that's the
fucking
case.
craft beer that has that name. Like, you know
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Like, there's one called,
Right,
like,
now
fucking
I'm sure-
Warlock Scrotum or something, so, like, there's definitely that.
Yeah.
Now I'm just trying to think of, like, an alcohol pun for Oryx and Crake, but nothing's coming to me. That's another Margaret Atwood book.
Can we talk about the fact that these suffering wines, use what is functionally the slave names of these characters?
Oh yeah.
And it's supposed to be, like, commemorative and, like, empowering. It's like, this wine is named for Offred, and it has, like, a powerful flavor. You know, like, that kind of shit.
Like, the naming of the tale, if you're not familiar with it, is the woman is literally, like, of Fred. So it would be, like, there's another woman who's, like, given name is of Glenn.
Mhm.
So it's just, like, the property of
Yeah,
the
women
man.
aren't
And
allowed to have any
all of-
property
all of
in
these,
this
like, named women
world.
characters on the show who are, like, currently handmaids. Shows this. Anyway.
Hey, my audio dropped out for, like, a full, like, 15 seconds.
Same.
Yeah, that's fine. That'll happen. Wait, what? So before we get out of here, there is actually one more thing in our news we completely forgot to talk about, which is the unmasking Antifa bill. Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Sorry.
Hey,
Okay, I thought the audio died again. No, y'all just let me hang. Y'all just let me hang there.
Sorry. My improv machine broke.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So the unmasking Antifa bill, something that could cause someone to face up to 15 years in prison for concealing your face and being intimidating.
Oh,
Or just
cool.
being at a protest, whether or not you're doing like legal stuff.
Right, because
Like it specifically specifies.
Like, you
in
know,
the
a
bill.
black, like, you know, a black person providing medical aid.
yeah, the thing is
Or,
that
like,
when the benchmark for like
hiding your
what
face,
the
Nazis don't take pictures of you and ruin your life and drive you out of the country like they did to some of the people in Charlottesville.
the thing about this is that because when the trigger for like what is considered a crime is just being intimidating. Like, what is the fucking burden of proof for being intimidating? It's like nothing. So they could pretty much just slap that on whoever.
It's
I think this is coming in the wake of the J20 trials, which I'm pretty sure all of the defendants in those cases have had their charges like completely cleared. But like people were arrested at a protest on January 20th, Trump's inauguration in DC. It was the one where like the limo was on fire and they broke like a couple windows or something. There was like 1 million press compared to like 100 protesters or anyway, like people who weren't even like at the protest were arrested for like posting about it on Facebook. People who were just like on the streets were arrested for property damage, and it was the whole thing where the government was trying to prosecute people. Like there are was like even if you didn't directly do the property damage by like being at a protest, you were like endorsing it or something like that.
Before we get to questions, one last thing. I do want to give a quick shout out to friend of the show, Patreon of the show, Morg, who got arrested at a protest this past weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Morg,
Damn.
my roommate and friend of over a decade, Morg, got arrested at a protest last weekend because they were blocking the main road into downtown Rochester, doxed, sorry, that's, you know, they all got arrested for, civil disobedience, or not civil disobedience, I'm sorry, disorderly conduct, because, you know, it's really important they blocked out that road, because the thing you probably don't know about Rochester if you don't live down here, is that if you drive literally 30 seconds past that exit, you can just get to the next one. The downtown streets are just, there's exits every fucking 2 seconds down there.
Hey, remember prior to Charlottesville when at least a couple states tried to ram through bills that were like, it is legal to run over a protester if they're in front of your car?
All right, let's get to questions.
Yeah.
Looker versus Polite the cat. Who would win? This is Scout.
Sorry. I don't know who
Looker
Polite
takes
is. Who's Polite?
You don't know who Polite the emoji?
Polite the cat!
What?
Go look at the Discord emojis right
Look
now.
I'm gonna post it in podcast
Hold on.
chat.
Good.
Make
I
sure
like
it's
how there's
big.
3 people
Oh,
trying
okay.
to post polite.
Wow.
This one.
Looker would definitely win. Looker's now
Yeah,
my
Looker-
lock
Looker,
screen. Thanks,
I
Stephanie.
think-
Looker would win. It's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's close, but it's Looker.
It's
Looker.
It's Looker to me.
To me, Looker, no contest. Because Looker's a friend. I Polite seems like a friend, but I don't know them too well, so.
Yeah.
Looks very polite.
Anonymous wants to
Hey.
know. Anonymous wants to know, how do you picture the Trump administration's legacy will look like in 50 years? Either we'll all be dead or it'll be in the history books as one of the worst times of in American history.
It'll
Yeah,
just be
I
like,
was like,
you get to that
oh.
section of the textbook and there's just a fucking clown emoji. Just like a little bicycle horn honk.
Yeah,
It's-
it's got
it's-
like the birthday card like sound thing when you open it.
Yeah.
You just like you open it and it plays skull trumpet. You open it, the clown face, and you just hear.
Wait, back up. I have not thought about Skull Trumpet in
Yeah,
84 years.
I thought about it for the first time like in 5 years, and I was like, is that still as funny as I remember it? And good news, folks, it is. So Anonymous wants to know, Richard Spencer got barred from entering Sweden, and one of his white power cronies called it anarcho-tyranny. Is, quote, anarcho-tyranny the most galaxy-brain version of anarcho-ideology possible, or does a spicier take exist?
r/anarcho-fascism.
What is like
Anarcho-horny.
I would
Is that just like what Mad Max is?
just like to mention a Reddit story of an ANCAP who went to an anarchist meeting in Italy and immediately got like owned as soon as they mentioned they were in an ANCAP and was like, this is violating the non-aggression principle as they were like getting dragged out of this school.
I was gonna say anarcho horny, but that does extremely exist because I do remember seeing an artist who just draws like ripped fucking gay, ripped gay like
Antifa.
hard left people.
I will say that anarcho-tyranny is
he
immediately an
drew reverse
oxymoron.
bimboification. Sorry, reverse himboification. I should use the correct terminology.
The first one sounds better. The first one does sound better.
I did not make up the word himbo.
I know you didn't, but like I didn't know about that word before you said it. Now I'm mad. Anyway.
What is a non-binary bimbo called? Thimbo?
Jimbo.
Okay, here we go.
Bombo.
Jane Fundo.
Bob-omb buddy.
Tumblr user Jane Funda wants to know, I once had a dream where I had a knife fight with Woody Allen on a rooftop. It had a bittersweet ending where he escaped, but I was content with the knowledge that he was old and would soon die. Who would you most like to fight on a rooftop, and what would be your weapon of choice? Henry Kissinger, hammer.
Oh my god! How big is the hammer? Like, what kind of hammer is it?
Sledge.
Like regular
Just
size or like cartoon size? Like
Okay,
Mario
I'm
size?
gonna say
Listen,
Stephen Miller,
Zach.
sickle.
Zach, I once worked demolition for a summer. They made me break down cinder block walls with a giant fucking sledgehammer. I made $50 an hour. I would use that hammer. Fuck you.
Sorry, part of the question cut out. Is this politicians only?
No, anyone.
Anyone? Rooftop duel? Any weapon?
Yes.
Man, if Woody Allen wasn't already the question,
I mean, could I say Woody Allen, but like the bear trap on a chain from Cabin in the Woods?
ooh. I'm gonna say, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, but with that fucking whip sword from Soul Calibur.
Oh, Ivy's sword?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the horny blade.
Are you wearing like her clothes too?
Yeah, I'm wearing like 1 square inch of fabric, like covering exclusively my groin area.
The soul still burns.
Yeah, a soul still burns.
Still burns.
Hey, why does Ivy dress like that?
She just does.
Like,
she's done it since the first. It just kind of is how it's been since the first game, and at this point, it's just kind of her character. I've loved Ivy from a very young age, so I do recognize that her design is extremely sexist, but also I think she's fucking great as hell. That hair, the accent, everything she does is very good. But also the game is just like that.
I like the intro cutscene of Soul Calibur 2, where she does the cool thing where her sword breaks apart and then like turns into little individual knives and then like chases people. But
it's good.
I remember thinking back when that game came out, like, wow, that's a pretty horny costume, and like it has somehow gotten worse.
Her breasts have grown each game. The same is true of Sophitia from Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Whose titties grow each game.
Wow, what a nice pair of Gran Honkaloos.
Alright, so question from
I
Anonymous.
never got to answer that question.
What's that? Oh, sorry, go on.
Okay, I was just gonna say, Elon Musk Tumblr meme voice gun.
Nani?
Anonymous wants to know, what are your thoughts on Bofa? Big proponent. I'm a big fan of Yes on 227 to validate Bofa. Also, what are your favorite podcasts? I'm going to limit everyone to 2 answers, no repeats.
No
My
Mabim
2
Bam.
answers. No Mabim Bam. No, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no maximum fun, actually. Make this a little bit difficult.
Just say no McElroy.
Okay, my 2 are Street Fight and Citations Needed.
Wait,
What was that? What were those?
Street Fight Radio and Citations Needed.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
good. Mine is gonna be Limetown and You Must Remember This.
Wait, what is Limetown?
Limetown is a horror narrative podcast that had 6 episodes. You can listen to the entire thing in about 3.5 hours. It is the best narrative podcast I've ever listened to, bar fucking none. It's about a civilization of about 350 people that just vanished overnight. It's so fucking creepy. It's so fucking good. It pays off in a way that it shouldn't pay off. It builds up to a point where I'm like, there's no way they pull this off. I've listened like 4 times, and every single time I'm thinking, there's no way it pays off like I remember it. And it always fucking does. I love Limetown with all my fucking heart, and it's coming back on October 31st, so get out there, listen to it before the new season happens.
Huh. Who did it, out of curiosity? Anybody notable?
Not to my knowledge, no. I'll take a look-see real quick. I don't even know what network it's on, if it's on
That would have been my next question.
It was written and directed by Zach Akers and Skip Bronke.
I'm gonna say Punch Up the Jam and...
Yep.
Let me see. We're doing no McElroys, so
No McElroys, no Max Fun.
no McElroys, no Max Fun. I'm going to say for my I need to look at my list. Hang on.
Unfortunately, one of mine was taken by Zach. The stealing of the podcast by the coward Zach. But my other one was going to be I don't know, fuck it, because I don't have any other choices. I guess I'll go with the podcast that we are a replacement for, Chapo Trap House,
I think Chapo's pretty good.
and
Like a
also
problematic fave, but I like Chapo a lot.
and
I've
what's
actually
their
never
name?
listened to Chapo because I'm a fake
Bunta
bitch.
Vista Socialist Club.
All right. So back to me. So as I said already, Punch Up the Jam. And I'm also going to say Reply All, which is a very good podcast. It's just like really good nonfiction storytelling, which I enjoy a lot. It's a Gimlet Media podcast. I'm listening to another one of those right now, but I'm gonna bring it up in Lightbringers, so you don't get to hear it yet.
Wait, hold on. Can I replace Chapo with the Discourse Collective instead?
Sure.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and go to. We have a shitload of questions. Thank you all for sending in questions. We'll get to a bunch of them in the mailbag. But this last question from Anonymous says, "Thembo." Thank you, Anonymous. That is all for questions. So we're gonna go ahead and move into Lightbringers. I'll go first, unless anyone cares about that. Cool. So my thanks for leaving me hanging so much this week, guys. That's my Lightbringer. The fact that you guys are always there for me and always like you just catch me like a trapeze artist when I'm swinging across and I let go of the one bar and you just catch me every time. Anyways, my Lightbringer this week is a game that I picked up on yesterday and I sat down and I beat it in 3 hours. It's called Secret Little Haven. It is a game that is, it's set in the 90s. It takes place entirely on a CRT monitor display. You play as a 14-year-old trans teenage girl who is so in the closet that she doesn't even know what transgender means. But she's part of this fan community for some like obvious, homage to, some obvious parody of Sailor Moon called, Pretty Love's Heart Guardian or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, it's an extremely deeply personal story to me. I really don't know how it'll actually hit anyone who is not trans, but we're gonna do an extended Lightbringer with Alex and Sam, who are cis, and I'm curious to see how it'll hit them. But it's a phenomenal game. I cried a lot. I had a lot of emotions. I laughed a lot. It does feel a lot like 14-year-old in 1999 typing things, trying to figure things out. Just some incredible writing. The way that it's like done is extremely good. There's a moment in the game where, no spoilies, but it does extend past the game itself does extend past the screen, sort of like, a way like, an RPG Maker game might, like, an I'm Scared or something might mess with your hard drive in some way. There's a content warning on the site. I'm going to reiterate it here, but there's a content warning for gaslighting, parental conflict, abuse, but I really cannot recommend it enough. $5 on itch. It's also on Steam, but don't fucking buy it on Steam. Buy it on itch. And donate to give bonus money to the creator. Evan.
Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting what we're listening. Yeah. My Lightbringer is decidedly less personal than that, but it's the great...
Pull ass out right now or I fucking quit the podcast.
My
Lightbringer...
Ass out.
Speech.
Okay, my Lightbringer is the festival River and Sky, which I've been incessantly talking about to anyone who will listen to me for the past little while because it's great. It's like a music festival up North Ontario. It's a very niche sort of Northern Ontario thing, and it's just an extremely good, very relaxing time where I can drink a lot in public and not have to worry about it.
Are any artists playing that? I'm not sure how big the festival is, but like any.
The only name that I recognize from not Sudbury local shows is there's two. A weird band, the Almighty Rhombus, and the Pack AD, which are both like reasonably big. I don't know if they're big outside of Canada though.
Yeah, before the second I asked you that question, I realized I know nothing about music, but...
Well, I'm sure Matt would be more equipped to talk about the people who are there than I am, because he's like much more into that stuff than me, but whatever. The point is that there's not a lot of big bands because it's mostly like local Sudbury, North Bay, Elliott Lake.
Yeah, no,
like,
that sounds like a chill time. Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty cool. It is very cool. I'm doing also the reason why it's really cool is it's I'm getting in for free to do stand up there, and that's going to be really for the second time in a row now, and that's going to be really awesome because I don't have the money to go otherwise.
You're gonna do jokes?
Yep, I'm gonna do some jokes in
some
the
goofs
woods.
and gags.
Yep.
All right, we're an hour and a half. Lauren, go.
Oh, okay.
Good.
My Lightbringer this week. My Lightbringer this week is, well, I just looked, and I'm going to the beach in a week. I also just saw that apparently Stormy Daniels' charges got dismissed. Breaking news update. Boop, 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 boop.
Breaking news, Trump resigned.
Oh, if only. So yeah, I'm going to the beach next week, and I'm just gonna fucking sit in the ocean and just not think about anything for a full week, and I'm very excited about that. And that's really, like, the motivating part of my life right now is, like, I'm gonna be on vacation, so I'll see you bitches whenever.
Later,
It's over for us hoes.
Yeah, but also, for things that are actually something you can also enjoy yourself and not just, like, my life. I have been really enjoying listening to, this, podcast. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called, The Last Podcast on the Left. Now, it's a, it's a, true crime horror podcast, and it's problematic, but it's also very enjoyable, and I like hearing spooky stories that are told really well. I don't know what I can recommend just because it's so particular to what your interests are, and kind of how much you can kind of stomach in hearing kind of gross or scary stories. But I think
their most recent two episodes, the Men in Black ones, I think they're a really good place to start because there's a very low amount of, to my recollection at least, quote unquote, the quote unquote problematic jokes that you'll find with some of the more.
Yeah,
I've heard those are mostly early episodes. Is that accurate?
I mean, because I was going to say, because the series that got me interested in it, because I had never heard of this story before, was about the Shinrikyo cult in, like, the 90s. So there's a couple of, I was going to recommend that, but also, like, that's kind of fucked up as a story. And also, like, some weird anti-Asian racism kind of pops up in the episode.
Yeah.
And that keeps me from recommending it. And there's a couple of things like that. But I think on the whole, it's a show that's, I think, really well researched, and I think does kind of manage to avoid the, like, traps of true crime, which is either to take everything super, super seriously or to forget that, like, these are real things that happen to real people. So, I don't know. It's good. It's a good podcast.
So what was the name of it?
I'm enjoying it.
Hey, this isn't my Lightbringer, but the, like, funniest parody of true crime in the world is on Netflix, and it's called American Vandal. Watch it.
Please watch
I
American
fucking
Vandal.
love American Vandal.
But my Lightbringer is I recently picked up The Sopranos again, like the show, the original good show. Actually, I think The Wire's older, but yeah, don't quote me on that. I don't know shit about shit. Anyway, what, like, strikes me about The Sopranos, what is, like, so good about it is just, like, the way it's made, all of it, it just feels so incredibly fresh. And, like, lots of times when you go back and watch, like, old shows or old movies that, like, set the standards for things, you'll see, like a lot of, it's not as good because you've seen all the tropes so many times, but, like, The Sopranos feels like it could have come out yesterday. And it's a good show, so watch it.
All right.
Zach.
My Lightbringer for this week is the podcast Crime Town, which is
It's good.
Yeah, which is a Gimlet Media podcast that I just started listening to. I think the premise is that every season, which this podcast does seasons, they highlight a different city and like a crime thing that happened in that city. So the first season, which is the one that I'm listening to now, I think, is about Providence and the
Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah, Providence, Rhode Island, and the mob activity there. Specifically, it's telling it has a really cool, at this point, parallel storytelling structure where they're alternating episodes where they talk about the political career of Providence Mayor Buddy Cianci. Did I pronounce that right? Hope I did.
Cianci, yeah,
Cianci.
yeah, you got it.
I was close. And sort of talking about sort of this low level, like, criminal, organized crime, story about a couple of guys who were involved with the, Patriarch of Crime family, which was the, crime family that basically ruled over Providence. Sort of, these stories are kind of being told in parallel, and sort of meeting in the middle at this point where, the mayor, in an effort to keep in his political power, kind of embraces mob support in an effort to, like, hang on to his political power, and it's really good. I'm like 5 episodes into it.
Yeah,
and it's fucking tight. Also, I love listening to old Italian men talk. Like,
Are they walking there?
they all sound like fucking Robert De Niro. I love it. They're all
Hey!
they're all like,
Forget about it!
they're no, like, no joke. They're all like, so I walk into the fucking hair salon and he's there and I say, what the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking cocksucker? It's all like that. Like, the whole podcast is like dudes talking like this.
Do any of them say, I shoot the calzone into space, disruptorino?
Mamma mia, I make the organized the crime.
All right, folks. Thank you as
No
always for
refundable.
listening to this. Thank you as always for listening to this week's episode of Henry Kissinger Is Pokemon Going to Die? As always, if you'd like to find us, you can check us out on Twitter at Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, even Reddit. Thank you, Reddit user, Bisexual Punch Party. That's just HKIPGTD everywhere. At Gmail, we're doing the mailbag, I believe this weekend or maybe next week. It's coming up soon. So we will be doing that. So get your questions in, your longer form stuff. We'll be cleaning out some of the stuff in the inbox too. We will also be finally killing one of the hosts next week because we did reach $200 a month. And if you'd like to support the show, patreon.com/HKIPGTD. $1 a month gets you access to everything, including Lightbringers, which I just posted one recently of my newest favorite anime, A Place Further Than the Universe, because it made me bawl like a baby. Or it hasn't been posted yet, but I think I'm gonna post it tonight, probably.
I'm gonna post it
tomorrow.
I'm gonna do it.
By the time you hear this, it'll probably be up if I've remembered to actually fucking do it. You can, you'll get access to pre and post show stuff, little stupid clips from the episode, from that we cut out of the episodes in terms for, whatever
funny
reasons.
moments.
Yeah.
Nice little
For the
sizzle
$5 a
reel.
month, you get a special role in our Discord and a shout out in the podcast for being such a good comrade. And at the $10 a month tier, you get to listen in live to Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die as it is recorded before the editor can come in and fix it. As we have, 5 people doing right now? 4 or 5 people? 5 people, but one of them is 5 people, but one of them is a host and one of them is a bot. So you can be one of those people if you want. So I would like to extend a very personal thank you to 1-800-ARE-YOU-SLAPPIN', David Besser, Paige Messer, Absolute Unit, Broenberg, Lost in Foundation, Alex Schaup, Nick Jagged, Mogu the Panda, The Tallest Jew, Michael Weems, Surrey Jack, Non-Binary with Left Beef, 500 Bees, Tiger Girl Fat Pussy, Summer Geist, Helga
Wait.
K, Delaney Fritz, M. Chambers, Kadeho Jones, Harry Tomlinson, Dijonais, Jordan Hagen, Charlotte Warmington, Pregnant, Seinfeld, Benjamin Kingstone Faria, Scout Shiro, Pedaz, Evan, Lowe, Brett Houts, Stephanie Ruff, Ollie Anders, and Ellen the Anarcho-Lalandiest. Lauren, did you have a question about one of those names?
What?
I heard an objection about one of those names.
Did I have a question?
Someone made a noise when I said one of those names, but I don't know which one it was.
I didn't have a question. I was just riding
It
the
was me
wave
snort
of that
laughing
is
at one of them.
hearing hearing all of those wonderful,
I may
beautiful
have made
names.
a noise because I wasn't expecting to hear Tiger Girl Fat Pussy, but
Thank you to personal friend of mine and friend of the show, Ashinu, specifically for changing their name every fucking week to something very funny to help me own Sam. So thank you again especially to Tiger Girl. Thank you especially again to Patreon user Tiger Girl Fat Pussy.
Stop saying it.
If you want to find me, I can be found on Twitter at Tiger Girl Fat Pussy, on Tumblr
That's
on
not
Twitter
even
at
true.
Yeah, you're lying to them.
you can't
I'm on
lie
Twitter
on a podcast.
I'm on Twitter at GayestLulu. I'm on Tumblr at Chiesatsunakas. Check out my other podcasts, Fear Baiting, which is a queer horror movie podcast, and Animorphs, where we yell about how sad these fucking kids are and how bad they need therapy. You can also check me out. I've been streaming a lot more. I've been trying to stream a lot more lately. I'm learning a new game to speedrun, which is Mega Man 1. If you want to tune into that, I'm posting the link on my channel, on my Twitter, because of the, I'm not doing it on Twitch right now until the strike is over, so I'm just doing it on YouTube. But, I did just call my podcast Animorphs. Thanks for the shout out, Star. My podcast is called The Wonder Years. It's an Animorphs podcast. Thank you for the, alert, Star. But yes, I will be posting a link to my streams. Tune into my Twitter to find out.
Cool.
Oh,
I have a lot of things.
it's me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. If you're looking for me, the only place I am is at TP_Albuquerque on Twitter.com, and that's all.
Yeah. And you can find me on Twitter at LLeBlanc_, or you can find me on Tumblr at RunTheGems.
I am on
tumblr.com.
Twitter as at CSavage with 2 V's, and also Tumblr is Winter's House, but I haven't posted there in like 50 years, so.
You can find me, Zach, on Twitter at Cataquax, or on Tumblr, and who gives a fuck? Nobody uses that site. Honestly, I'm just keeping it
All right.
real.
The T.
Thank you again for listening to Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, Not a Threat, Just a Fact. We will see you again next week, but until
Very
then,
soon.
Memento Pokemori.
good night, everyone.
Bye. Stay frosty.